Ripping a page from the Ernie Banks Chronicles, the Mets and Yanks play 2 today the hard way. This afternoon it was a day game at the Long Island confines of Shea Stadium. Tonight, a short ride to the Bronx, where New Yorkers take the D train. It's baseball's most vocal and exciting crosstown rivalry breaks out at Yankee Stadium. The red-hot New York Mets battle the defending world champs, the New York Yankees, for the second time today. Next. Well, in difference to Steve Martin and John Candy, planes, trains, and automobiles. Oneth by land, twoeth by sea. I don't know, insert your own clever tagline. Just make sure you get to the baseball park. A big day of baseball continues in New York. And live from the Bronx, Yankee Stadium, the house that Ruth built. Our second game in a same city, different venue doubleheader featuring the New York Mets from across town there against the world champs, the New York Yankees. This historic day of baseball began with Doc Gooden on the mound at Shea Stadium, and the action was quick. Chuck Knobloch early in the ballgame, top of the first, in a controversial play around the bag. Bobby Valentine argued that no, his first baseman Todd Zeile did not interfere with Knobloch's path. Didn't matter. Bobby V ejected after a pitch. Those two players, Zeile and Knobloch, they would match again. Later in the ballgame, Zeile interfering with Knobloch, called out on that play. Meanwhile, on the mound, it was Doc Gooden, vintage mid-'80s, good for 5 strong innings. How about Tino Martinez? 7 home runs all year. He comes up with a big one here to give the Yankees a 1-run lead late in the ballgame. That's all Easy Gas would need. The All-Star Mariano Rivera ends the ballgame. Derek Jeter and company winners this afternoon across town at Shea. So back at Yankee Stadium, a big day of baseball's only halfway done. Matt Vasgersian, Ken Brett, Yankees, Mets. It's always going to be a big game between these two teams, but the fact that they're playing 2 today and in different venues makes it even bigger. The Mets have been playing very good baseball. The Yankees had struggled, maybe a little bit vulnerable, more so than in years past, but both playing very well at this point.
Both are playing well. Let's not forget the Yankees are in first place, and Bobby Valentine, who does a great job managing the Mets, said this is a very big series and a very exciting series. There's a lot of people in New York that truly love baseball, love sports, and they would love to see nothing more than the Mets and the Yankees in October.
Yeah, you know, we're only in the first half of the season, nearing its close, and this has an October atmosphere. There's really a big event feel in the ballpark.
I think one thing that you have to consider, if you're going to play the New York Yankees in October, they have won 12 straight games, World Series games in the month of October. This has an October feel to it, and if the Mets are going to beat the Yankees in the remaining 2 games in this series, they've got to play better. They've got to score more runs.
Well, we do know this, that it started out early, and it's been a long day. It's not even halfway done yet. As a matter of fact, the day started here at Yankee Stadium for the world champs at 8:10 Eastern Standard Time when they loaded the bus to make that quick 9.6-mile trek across town and play near the airport at Shea Stadium. About a half an hour later, this would-be weary group arrived at the ballpark. Not a lot of time for coffee and clubhouse games today. It was right to the field where they stretched and watched the Mets, the home team, take batting practice first. So then the game got underway. By the way, there was a baseball game across town, and not just travel. It started and ended with a pop-up a little after 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So after the Yankees ended their day there, they got back on the buses. One of a few things happening here. Either Springsteen is arriving, the Pope, or the Yankees. It's, of course, the latter of the 3.
Yankees, of course, are in the blue bus. Here comes the green bus. New York Mets coming to Yankee Stadium. This is a lot like a spring training ball game where the visiting team will get off the bus with their uniforms on, go back home, and take a shower.
Going to be a fun one. It's the second of a historic day of doubleheader baseball. This was the route they took from Shea Stadium up north to the Bronx, and our second game is about to begin. You like All-Stars? You like big game feel? 7 All-Stars and bragging rights for the city on the line tonight. Mets, Yankees, play-by-play coming up right after this. FX Baseball Saturday Night is brought to you by Domino's, Bad Andy, Good Pizza. By McDonald's, did somebody say McDonald's? And by Uniroyal Tires, tried and true. Welcome back to New York City, Yankee Stadium. Matt Vasgersian, Ken Brett. It's just the second game in what's been a long and wonderful day of baseball here for the folks in New York. the Yankees and Mets once again tonight. Yankees have won the first two in the series, including this afternoon's game across the way at Shea. Let's check the starting lineup for the visiting New Yorkers, the New York Mets. Lenny Harris will lead off in left field. Benny Agbayani got the start across town in the first game. Harris followed by Derek Bell and Edgardo Alfonso. Mike Piazza's the DH here in this American League ballpark tonight. Ventura and Zeal follow. Jay Payton, Todd Pratt, he catches to start tonight. And Melvin Mora rounded out for the New York Mets. They'll take swings against veteran right-hander, 5-time Cy Young Award winner in his 17th season, the ace, Roger Clemens.
Roger Clemens is 5-6. He's got an ERA of 4.48 coming into the ball game. He is 37 years old. As you said, 5-time Cy Young Award winner. He is still a dominant pitcher. He's 37. He's had some injuries, especially to the legs. Hamstring and a groin. Hamstring last year, groin this year. Using his fastball more than his split finger, and that's what the Yankees want him to do. He's been nibbling a little bit on the corners. He's still got a good enough fastball to go after hitters, and he needs those legs to be successful, which is why I think he struggled the last couple of years with his fastball and stuff.
Let's take a look at the defense behind Roger Clemens near the top of the American League in team defense. Tino Martinez is started the whole series as per usual at first base. Chuck Knobloch, a Gold Glove Award winner at second base in '97. Some recent defensive problems there. Scott Brocious is the third baseman. Shortstop's headed to the All-Star game, 1 of 4 for the Yankees going to Atlanta. That guy's name is Derek Jeter. I'm sure you've heard of. Shane Spencer starts in left field for the Yankees. Bernie Williams is also going to the All-Star game, the top vote getter among American League outfielders, and Paul O'Neill, who made a brilliant catch in last night's game, is in right. Chris Turner starts behind the plate, and we're underway. Roger Clemens' first pitch of the night is in for strike one to Lenny Harris.
Yeah, we mentioned a moment ago, Roger Clemens still has a dominant fastball at his age. 37 years old, 15 starts. Look at the hits, still less than innings pitched. 86 strikeouts in 88 innings. He has still got dominating stuff. He's much more successful getting ahead. The best pitch to get ahead with is still his dominant fastball.
Clemens had a stint on the disabled list recently. This is his second start since coming off. Lenny Harris to lead things off. Bobby Valentine led off with Melvin Mora this afternoon. That one coming in head high.
Roger Clemens has never been shy when it comes to being a pitcher. If he wants to make a point and to get himself on track, sometimes he will pitch up, and he will pitch up and in aggressively. Pretty good example right there.
Bobby V hopes to stick around a little longer in this night game tonight.
Hey, made it through one hitter in the opener.
Next offering foul back by Lenny Harris.
You know, I'm surprised that Bobby got thrown out in the opening game, because this is a big game. Bobby wanted to be part of it, and he watched the game from the runway going from the dugout to the locker room. First inning he get ran. I thought he would get out of that, make your argument, make your point, leave the field, but he got run.
Bobby V is as fresh as his 25th man on the roster right now. Oh, that doesn't miss by a whole lot on the outside. 2-2. There was controversy in the first game of the doubleheader. We talked about it during our broadcast open. 2 interference calls. Both times they involved Zeal and Knobloch. This crew has already come under a little bit of scrutiny. Here's the 2-2, and that bounces low and away. It's full to Harris to start the night for Roger Clemens.
Well, I would think it's pretty obvious that Zeal and Knobloch have to get together after the game and have a bite to eat and talk about this, because they've been meeting it all the wrong ways on the field.
Full count for Roger Clemens against Lenny Harris to start it out. The Rocket was very good in his last start. Harris pops to left. Shane Spencer's back on it. There's one away. This is indeed a big game feel here at Yankee Stadium. Same thing could be said of what happened at Shea Stadium earlier in the afternoon. Interleague play, in the minds of many, exists for exactly this matchup.
I think anytime you have interleague play, you've got to try to put teams that should be natural rivals against each other every year. Even if they're not in the same division, which is the way it is now. Texas and Houston is a perfect example. They have got to play each other every year.
Here's Derek Bell now with one away.
And I would be the first to say there are certain matchups in interleague play that don't have a lot of excitement for the fans. This is one that has tremendous excitement for the fans.
Oh, you bet. Ball to no strikes on Derek Bell. He had a couple of hits in the opener today.
And a perfect example of that is the fact that there are 4 games in this series. All 4 are sold out. The Mets in Friday night's game was the first true sellout they had had since 1972. That is exciting.
You better believe
That's
it.
what makes it exciting in this city.
Well, White Sox Cubs is nice,
yes.
right? A's Giants is nice. Angels Dodgers is nice. But this is the poster child series for interleague play.
You go to St. Louis and when they play Kansas City, that's big. Texas and Houston, that is big.
2 balls and a strike. To 2-2 on Derek Bell.
You know, Roger Clemens, 5-6. He's under 500. Last year, his ERA was 4.60, highest it has ever been in his career. At the start of play tonight, 4.48. If he's healthy, he would like to finish the season strong and make a difference.
And Clemens runs the count full. Went full to Harris, now full to Derek Bell.
And this is not the way he wants to pitch. He does not want to go deep into every count against every hitter. Too many pitches will tire him out sooner.
Groin injury is what slowed down Roger Clemens and had him miss a handful of starts. Fastball right down Main Street. Bell pops it up. Fouled away, still 3-2. He did make a good start after coming back off the DL on the 2nd of July this past Sunday. Went 7 innings against the vaulted Tampa Bay Devil Ray lineup. Limited that juggernaut to 1 earned run on 3 hits. Yankees won it 5-2 in Clemens' return. It was good for his 5th win of the season. He tries it full to Bell once again, and this one's punched into right center. Derek Bell picking up right where he left off across the way at Shea Stadium this afternoon.
Yeah, Derek Bell, good fastball hitter. He had to be getting a fastball there, had to be looking for a fastball there. The first 3-2 pitch was a fastball. Hitters get a chance to time these pitches. Even if you're throwing 90+ miles an hour, this time he just slashes it into right field. Get ahead and get him out on bad pitches.
I'll bring up a guy going to the All-Star game for the first time in his career. Second baseman Edgardo Alfonso having a fine season. 320 hitter, 13 dingers, 57 driven in. As you see on your screen, he hasn't done much of anything over the years against Roger Clemens. One ball and no strikes on Edgardo Alfonso. 3 Mets going to Atlanta next week for the All-Star game. 4 Yankees. Each of them deserving, and as is always the case, a couple of guys that were left off that could have made a strong claim for going as well. Grounded to third base. Gross is the Gold Glove winner at the position last year. Starts the 5-4-3 double play. They go away in order against Clemens despite the 1-out single. We're just getting started. A scoreless top of the first, tuned in by Roger Clemens. We're scoreless as we go to the home half of inning number 1. Let's check Joe Torre's lineup card for this one tonight. The Yankees will lead things off with second baseman Chuck Knobloch, 4-time All-Star, was 1 for 4 in the first game of the doubleheader. Jeter and O'Neill to follow. Bernie Williams is going to his 4th All-Star game in Atlanta, first time as a starter. Tino Martinez at first base, bats number 5. The new Yankee, another left-hander, DH David Justice, hits in the 6th spot. Shane Spencer, Chris Turner, and Scott Brocious rounded out for the Pinstripers tonight. They'll take swings against left-hander Glendon Rush, the former Kansas City Royal, on the mound to make his 15th start as a Met tonight.
He really struggled in Kansas City. Traded to the Mets. He's done a good job. Fastball just shy of 90, high 80s. Cut fastball, curveball, changeup. Must locate and change speeds. And look at the walks per 9 innings. Only 1.6 base on balls for every 9 innings he pitched, to give you an idea of how good his control is.
It's the second lowest walks per 9 ratio in the American League as Chuck Knobloch hacks at the first pitch and lines it out to center. Jake Payton gobbles it up. Check the defense behind Glendon Rush. Around the horn for the Mets, Todd Steele making his first everyday appearance as a first baseman. He's the first baseman tonight, doing a good job after John Olerud left town. Edgardo Alfonso's going to the All-Star game for the first time this year. He's at second base. Third baseman Robin Ventura, a whole stack of gold gloves in his closet. Melvin Moore is the shortstop. There until further notice without Ordonez. Lenny Harris in left. Jay Payton, the center fielder. Derek Bell via Houston is in right. Todd Pratt back of home plate, making Mike Piazza the DH tonight. And that's how they stack up defensively behind the 25-year-old southpaw Glendon Rush. One gone for Derek Jeter. Jeter was 2 for 5 in the first game of the doubleheader this afternoon. Doubled and drove in a run.
Rush this year, 14 starts, 6 wins, 6 losses. Good ERA of 4.42. He's a number 4, number 5 type of guy. If he can give you innings, he's done his job. And if he can win 10, 12 ball games a year, he's done a better job.
Well, Glendon Rush certainly has been a pleasant surprise for the fans of the New York Mets at 6-6. A control guy who was roughed up a little bit his last time out, but his last 9 or 10 starts have been very good ones.
And I think the control's got to be a big part of that. The fact that that last pitch to Derek Jeter was a changeup. He was way out in front of it. Also very good. But if you look at what Glendon Rush did when he was with Kansas City, 12 wins, 25 losses, and a very high ERA. He's turned it around, and the Mets saw something in him that they liked.
And Jeter's caught looking. He's sneaky quick, that Glendon Rush, as he punches out Jeter for out number 2.
That's the second time today. Jeter in the first ball game got caught on the same pitch. Fastball inside corner. Look at his backside going back toward the dugout. And that pitch caught a lot of the plate. To be a left-hander and be as successful as Rush has been, you've got to use both sides of the plate.
Speaking of left-handers, here's one of the best left-handed hitters in the American League, Paul O'Neill. Took an 0 for at Shea this afternoon, still to healthy 292 with 10 home runs. O'Neill with an opposite field base hit. The Yankees swinging early in the count, at least their first time through against Glendon Rush tonight.
And maybe the scouting report the Yankees have on Rush is he's going to try to get ahead of you, and he's going to try to get ahead by throwing a pitch you can swing at. Go up there and look for a certain pitch, mostly the fastball. If you get a fastball, be a ripping on it.
2-out base runner for him to deal with now. That'll bring up Bernie Williams.
And of course, if that changes the first time through the lineup, the pitcher's got to say to himself, and if he's not going to think that, his pitching coach or the manager is going to tell him, don't be so good the first pitch. Throw an off-speed pitch. Throw a changeup for a strike, because as good a control as he has, he can throw those pitches over the plate. It's a game between the two.
Bernie Williams was hitless this afternoon in game 1 of the doubleheader, and as you saw a moment ago, it ended a healthy hitting streak. Bernie had hit in 17 in a row before the 0 for 2 today. He's got O'Neill at first and 2 gone. Bernie Williams going to the All-Star game for the 4th year, his first time as a starter. He was the top vote getter among American League outfielders. Of course, that's a job made a little easier with Ken Griffey Jr. in the National League these days.
Got a report today that Mark McGwire, not going to the All-Star game, has a bad knee. So they'll add a player from some team.
Yeah, that's bad news for baseball fans everywhere. Williams pops into center. Long run for Jay Payton. He's got great speed, and he gets there to put it away. Payton was deep in center. Nothing to spot a 2-out single against Glendon Rush. Well, prior to the advent of interleague play for the 97 season, Mike Piazza had never faced Roger Clemens, but he owns him. Since facing him, he's batting healthy numbers against the Rocket. A grand slam on the 9th of June this year added to a Mets 10-run victory. Piazza has done big things against Roger Clemens in his career.
Yeah.
How about 7 for 12 with 3 dingers?
That's a good number against anybody, but especially good against a great pitcher like Clemens.
That's our key matchup, brought to you by LendingTree.com. Clemens has struggled conversely against the other New York team. That's the matchup that leads off the top of the second inning. Piazza, Ventura, and Zeal against Roger Clemens.
Now, if you're Roger Clemens, you know he's 7 for 12. You know he's hit 3 home runs. So the question is, what are you going to do? Try something different. What has he hit off you in the past? And you know the answer to that question as a pitcher. Try something different. More slow stuff, more inside stuff, more outside stuff.
Clemens is in pretty good company because Piazza's done that kind of thing to a number of big hitters, and that one comes in and gets him. Clemens trying to brush him off, aware of those career numbers, and Piazza is down on his back, stunned at the plate.
And the question is, I thought he might have got his hands up. But I think if he got his hands up, he wouldn't be down on the ground right now.
No, it's pretty apparent that he wasn't able to block that because he is flat on his back. And Roger Clemens certainly just trying to establish the inside part of the plate against a guy who's owned him, not trying to put anybody down.
Well, if you looked at the home run that he hit off Clemens that we showed you a moment ago, where was the pitch? It was on the outside half of the plate, hit to straightaway center field. If he's going to hit that pitch, you got to pitch him inside so he won't have such good success against you against the outside of the plate. And I'm sure that's what Roger was trying to do, establish myself inside. Now Mike is up, and we hope he's okay.
Eyes are open, just exactly what they're seeing, we're not sure. Let's take a look at it again.
They want the pitch inside, but they don't want it this much up. Oh yeah, that got through his hands.
It looked like it got him on the forehead, as a matter of fact. Here's another look at it.
Yeah. Hit him right on the helmet. Boy, oh boy.
This is how it looked and sounded in real time.
I tell you what, the people that make the helmets, you know, they got to be tested. That ball came at him pretty good, and he's okay. He's up. Question is, will he stay in the ball game?
I got one word for you. Plastics.
Yeah, plastics. They're going to ask him some basic questions. Here's the shot again, right above the left ear. Boom.
Well, you don't generally see anybody getting hit in the front of the helmet. That's exactly where it gets Piazza, and certainly as a precautionary measure, if for no other reason, Mike will be removed. And Don Simmer, a man who wears a metal plate in his head from a beating incident some years ago, certainly knows what it feels like to be hit in that spot.
Yeah, and everybody hopes that Mike Piazza's okay. He appears to be okay, and I'm sure that he will go down, he'll take some pictures, and we'll have to have a pinch runner here. And, you know, a lot of people at this ballpark. This place is sold out tonight. There are a lot of Mets fans, and there are a lot of baseball fans, and nobody in baseball, even if you don't like the Mets, likes to see anything like that happen, even though it's an accident.
Well, part of the game within the game when the Mets play the Yankees is who is the more popular player in New York. Is it Jeter of the Yankees? Is it Piazza of the Mets? With the year the Mets have been having and the season that both of those guys have been having in 2000, it's about as tight a race as Giuliani versus Clinton would have been should the mayor have stuck around for that race. Matt Franco is going to pinch run at first base for Piazza. And certainly we'll get information to you if we're posted on the status of Mike Piazza, but he is removed at this point after being hit by a pitch to lead off the top of the second. So we're back to baseball now. The left-handed hitter Robin Ventura digs in with a man on. Offers at the first pitch and pops it up. Brocious and Spencer are there, but it's out of play.
And that was the second time in the ball game that Roger Clemens had aggressively come up and in. So maybe Roger feeling his oats a little bit, getting a little pumped up here, trying to put his foot on the ground and tell everybody who the boss is. And usually it is the pitcher. Pitcher makes the decision. He makes the decision on what he's going to throw and where he's going to throw it.
Ventura just 2 for 17 against the Pinstripers in the Subway Series this year. The Yankees have won 10 of the 16 meetings, including 2 in a row to start this series. This is currently a 4-gamer, and the reason they're playing a doubleheader tonight is because it rained in June here at Yankee Stadium.
And I'm sure they waited a long time to play that game, but when push came to shove, they had to get permission to play this split doubleheader, and they got it. And the whole town's pretty excited about it.
Town's pretty excited about it. Most of the players are excited to be taking part in a historical night of baseball here tonight. Some have grumbled expectedly over the difficult nature of playing in one venue, dealing with traffic, and then coming across town to play the second part of a doubleheader some 4 or 5 hours later.
Yeah, they got the police escort. We had to fight the traffic.
A swing and a miss by Ventura. First strikeout of the night by Clemens. As far as these types of days are concerned, let's check this type of day in history. First time since September 7th, '03, just into the modern era, that there have been 2 major league games between the same 2 teams on the same day in 2 different parks. And back in '03, it was the New York Giants and the Brooklyn Superbas. That team would later become the Dodgers.
Sounds like the name of a cigar, the old Superba.
One gone now. Todd Zeile, the batter. In 1903.
Now, take a look at this. Wagons, folks. We had wagons at the ballpark.
That's the Polo Grounds in New York. Before they built that horseshoe-type fence, it looked like the wagons actually made up the fence out there. Ball and no strikes on Todd Zeile. It's a 2-0. Well, just a subway token, rather, for all of $1.50 would get you between the 2 venues tonight. And many fans, of course, took advantage of that scenario. Traffic was surprisingly light between Shea and Yankee Stadium in the afternoon hours today. In fact, many of the Mets personnel that came over before the team bus reported total driving times of 17 minutes.
And I think somebody said the distance about 9+ miles. I think we made it in less than 17 minutes.
We were quick, I'll tell you.
With no escort. Although I did think it was kind of funny when you stuck your head out the window and made that. Oh, yeah, I thought that was kind of cute.
Whatever it takes.
Yeah.
2 balls and a strike. Jay Payton on deck behind Todd Zeile. It's an important ball game for the Mets, history aside. Still trying to catch the Braves and trying to prove to the Yankees that, yes, they can play with the world champs.
Yeah, here's a pretty good example, to my knowledge anyway, or in my opinion. Clemens on a 2-1 pitch, throwing a breaking ball to Zeile. You got to throw a pitch you can throw for a strike most of the time. And I don't think it's the breaking ball from Clemens. I think it's the fastball.
Zeile pops it up. 3-1 pitch popped up in Shane Spencer's direction. Takes a rather odd route to the baseball, but makes the catch. Hey, tomorrow it's a Generation FX movie. Mark Wahlberg stars as a naive teen who's got one thing that all of Hollywood is dying to see. Yikes. Catch the world broadcast premiere of Boogie Nights tomorrow at 10, only on FX. It's your era, Kemmer. When you talk about the Mets and the Yankees and their hot years from '84 to '91, Mets had the better record than the Yankees. That was that World Series team in there, and in '86 and a bunch of good teams after it. But in the '90s, it has been all pinstripers. 3 World Series victories in the last 4 years. They have been the headline garnering team in New York in the decade of the '90s.
Last year, of course, both these teams made the playoffs. Yankees, of course, won it all. They have won 3 of the last 4 World Series, and they have won 12 straight World Series games. And if you go back to the first year that they won, they lost the first 2 games, and they haven't lost since. Bobby Valentine, of course, thinks he has the kind of club that can beat Atlanta, and he'd like to see himself play in October in the World Series this year.
Well, they came oh so close a year ago. 0-1 on Jay Payton, grounded at third. Brocious accommodates the difficult hop, and the Gold Glover's been strong in the hot corner for the Yankees tonight. 0 in the top of the second, 1.5 gone, scoreless. Well, earlier tonight we talked about this matchup as being a possible World Series preview. They've never met each other before, these two teams, but the same city has hosted a World Series on 4 occasions prior. Yankees and Giants, Yankees and Dodgers here in New York. Chicago hosted one in '06, and St. Louis, remember them St. Louis Browns? Cardinals beat him in 1944. Of course, there was the Oakland-San Francisco World Series, what everybody will remember is the Earthquake World Series in '89. Same area, 2 different cities, so that didn't count as one of them. Tino Martinez takes one on the derriere. Glendon Rush comes and gets a guy.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise anybody. And now the umpire is going to go out and he's going to make a warning. Clemens has done it twice. He hit Piazza in the head one time. Plate umpire Doug Edding going to warn him, and he's going to warn both managers. Now it could get a little exciting because if somebody knocks somebody down, he could be thrown out of the ball game. And Bobby Valentine wants to come out, and he wants to talk. Now, does he want to talk to the umpire, or does he want to talk to the pitcher? And I don't think he's very happy with the umpiring right now because he's certainly not mad at Glendon Rush.
Well, Bobby came out as though he was going to approach Glendon Rush, but directs his comments certainly towards the second base umpire, Tim Welke. And Bobby's had a problem with this crew already today. He was ejected from the first game of the doubleheader after 1 pitch at Shea Stadium today.
And Tim Welke is the one that is the senior umpire. Look at this. Make no mistake about it, folks. He was going after him. If you're going to throw at a guy, you don't throw above the neck. You hit him right there. It's not going to hurt him, but you've made your point. Tino Martinez does the right thing. Goes to first base. Now, hopefully this issue is over with right now. And we'll just see a good game of baseball. But if Glendon Rush doesn't do what he just did, he's going to lose the respect of his teammates. And Bobby's in a little trouble again. Now he's arguing with the plate umpire.
Bear in mind that Bobby Valentine has only been around for 2 or 3 pitches of this doubleheader prior to today's game. He doesn't want to get thrown out of another one.
He could get run in the 2nd inning tonight and see a total of 2 innings of the 18 that these teams have played. Bobby, stick around, buddy. Attaboy.
And Bobby wound himself down nicely, just like some of the great confrontationists in baseball history. Billy Martin, Tommy Lasorda, etc. Bobby knew when to shut it down. He made his point. We're back to baseball. Joe Buck had a brilliant line today on Fox's coverage of the first game of the doubleheader after Bobby was ejected. He said, now Bobby Valentine is forced to go back into the dugout, dig into his bag of disguises. And we're back at it. The unmistakable kick of David Justice. Justice takes a strike. I tell you, the crew has really been on the hot seat in this series so far, Kemmer, and it's something that has opened itself up to a little criticism because there are 2 very young umpires on this 4-man crew working this series.
Tim Welke at second is the crew chief. He is the veteran of the 4. That's why he got involved with Valentine. I was talking to one of the Yankee radio broadcasters before the game today, and he was upset that the call was made in the 1st inning against Todd Zeile today when Knobloch was thrown out and then given second base due to obstruction. And I said, hey, it's just a baseball game. People in New York think this is the greatest thing in the world. Well, people in California don't think that. The people in Minnesota don't think that. And I don't think Major League Baseball's umpiring people think that. You put a guy out on the field, he better know the rules, and he better make the right call. It's just one game.
2-1 pitch to David Justice. He's out in front. He fouls it away, 2-2.
But in New York, it's a big deal.
Well, the folks in Ohio would certainly have cause to complain if Major League Baseball felt as though it should send its 4 best, quote-unquote, or senior-most umpires to this venue. What about the Battle of Ohio? What about the Reds going against the Cleveland Indians? What about when the A's take on the Giants and the Angels play the Dodgers?
That's my point. It's just one game.
Justice on one hop to second. Alfonso to Mora. Relay back to first is not in time. The left-handed hitter Justice gets out of the box quickly and he beats it out. The controversy this inning stems from 2 hit batsmen.
And don't forget, Piazza's not the first guy that was thrown up and in. Piazza gets hit, comes out of the ball game. Now Tino gets hit in the backside. Nothing said, go to first base. That's the way you've got to treat it as a player.
One gone, Justice the base runner, as Martinez is erased 4-6. Here's Shane Spencer now, 282 hitter, 9 dingers and 40 driven in. 5 for his last 13. He's heated up nicely at a good time getting into the All-Star break. Spencer was 0 for 1 in the first game of the doubleheader at Shea today. Takes a strike from Rush on a breaking ball.
You know, it's interesting. Rush plays for Kansas City 3 years up, 3 years down. He's up in the majors. He's down in the minors. He's 12 and 25 with a high ERA. What did the Mets see in him? What Mets person found him and said, let's make a deal and get this guy because we think we can turn him around? And if you look and see what he's done this year, he's 6-6. He's done a great job. He's given up more hits than innings pitched, but so few walks, it doesn't matter. Maybe it was him. Maybe it was Dave Wallace, the pitching coach. One thing about baseball, you get a chance to see a lot of people, and you always see things in certain pitchers alike.
Spencer caught looking. Second punch out by Glendon Rush.
And that's the second time a Yankee batter, a right-hander, has gone down as a result of the fastball on the inside corner. Look at him. He didn't back away from the plate as much as Jeter did when Jeter struck out, but he did back away. And once you back away, you're done.
Our pitch tracks are brought to you by QuestTech.com. Rush utilizing the inside part of the plate for both of his punch outs, both of them looking to Jeter and Spencer. Here's Chris Turner now, giving Jorge Posada the second game off in the doubleheader. Posada going to the All-Star game for the first time this year. The longtime Angel farmhand Chris Turner to catch the nightcap. A runner aboard with 2 gone on the outside half that time.
Last year, Turner was playing in Buffalo, AAA for the Cleveland Indians. At 273, signed as a minor league free agent by the Yankees.
Pratt wants it on the outside again. It misses wide.
Yankee catchers last year, mainly Girardi and Posada. Girardi, of course, free agent, signs with the Cubs.
A lot of people suggesting around the Yankee cap that he is well missed around here additionally. Swing and a miss on a breaking ball. 3 punch outs for Glendon Rush through 2 to the third. Scoreless in the Bronx. Last night at Shea Stadium, 54,123 in attendance to watch the first game in the 4-game Subway Series. It was the largest crowd at Shea in 28 years. Big numbers at Yankee Stadium across town tonight. It was, and still is for that matter, a sellout. We don't have an official attendance number of yet, but there are a bunch of folks here wearing Mets caps, wearing Yankees caps, wearing Brooklyn Dodgers caps, excited to see baseball.
And let's not forget one thing. The Mets were in the playoffs last year. More people for this rivalry than the National League Championship Series last year.
Todd Pratt leads things off. It'll be Pratt and Mora, then top of the order, Lenny Harris. Roger Clemens through the first 2 has struck out 1. He's allowed a base hit and he's hit another. That was Mike Piazza, who was hit leading off the second. Piazza was removed. Matt Franco remained in the ball game at DH. 2 balls and no strikes on Pratt.
Fastball from Clemens, pretty much in the 92-mile-an-hour zone right now. He has thrown harder in his career, but don't forget, he's been around a long time, and he's 37 years old. And there's a situation where the hitter's got to be looking fastball, gets it about letter high, and he throws it right past him.
Before the advent of interleague play, it had been some time since the Rocket had seen the New York Mets. You got to go back to memories that aren't necessarily good ones for the Rocket. Most notably that 1986 World Series. Clemens pitched well in the series, and as we all remember, the Mets in rather unceremonious fashion, the old bouncing ball through the wickets of Billy Buckner had led to the victory, and the Mets beat the Red Sox for their world championship in the 80s. Mookie Wilson's the first base coach with the Mets. Mookie had a part in that. Two to Pratt, grounder to third base. Brosh has been all over the place early. One gone. Next Saturday, interleague play is back in a big way. Super slugger Mark McGwire leads the NL leading Cards into the Windy City to take on the Big Herd and the resurgent, resplendent Chicago White Sox. Cards White Sox next Saturday at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific on FX. FX marks the game.
Interesting thing about that ball game is that both of those teams have the biggest leads in all of baseball.
Who'd have thunk that 3 months ago, that the White Sox would be out in front by 10 games over the Cleveland Indians with the best record in the American League.
And at the All-Star break, with the season half gone, I think it's going to be very tough for Cleveland to catch it, unless Chicago just completely falls apart for a stretch of time.
Melvin Mora with one gone now.
Chicago would be the first team since they broke baseball up in all these divisions to win that division, except Cleveland.
A lot of fans think it's about time.
That's an upset.
Let's see somebody else out there. 2 balls and a strike to Mora. Clemens, although he is not allowed to run or pass first, is certainly not working with his best stuff early tonight. It's a difference between a Roger Clemens and an also-ran major league pitcher. Clemens can win without his best stuff. Mora pops up. One of those big Dave Kingman New York pop-ups. Tino Martinez has it 2 away.
I saw Roger Clemens, and I'm going to say the year was 1986. I saw the game and was broadcasting the game when he struck out 20 Seattle Mariners. And I'll tell you what, that was pretty incredible. I mean, he was just rearing back. They could not get around on him, and it was in Boston.
And it was 10 seasons later he did it to the Tigers. Here's Lenny Harris now with 2 gone. Clemens has retired 5 in a row. Clemens has retired 6 in a row. He gets the Mets 1-2-3 line in the third, done with 2.5, rocket rolling, scoreless.
You want a little thing here on the hat? Here you got half Yankee Stadium with the Yankee Stadium stop. You got half Shea Stadium with the Shea Stadium stop. You got the 4 train that goes to Yankee Stadium. You got the 7 train that goes to Shea Stadium, topped off by the Big Apple. You got a veritable microcosm of New York baseball on your head.
You got a veritable microcosm of New York baseball there, Ken. Veritable microcosm.
Yeah, that's right, baby.
Oh, I love it. Scott Brosius leading off the bottom of the third for the Yankees. Brosius, Knobloch, and Jeter against Glendon Rush. They're all out from all parts of the city and beyond. The 1998 World Series MVP, the 10-year veteran Brosius, hitless this afternoon. Jack Nicholson's here. Usually at the Staples Center.
Well, he's got his shades on, I know that. Looks like Jack.
It's either Jack Nicholson or Rowdy Roddy Piper from They Live. 2-1 misses low to Brosius, 3 balls and a strike. Mayor Rudy Giuliani was across town this afternoon at Shea Stadium. He is an unapologetic Yankee supporter. He knows he has to have support in the other parts of the city, but he is a dyed-in-the-wool Yankee fan. He was at Shea Stadium earlier today. I wouldn't be surprised if he made the trip across town, and we may be seeing him at some point tonight.
Well, it's interesting. The Mets are in Queens, and the Yankees are in the Bronx, and yeah, he's in Manhattan.
Full count as we roll scores from this afternoon. Sammy Sosa with a 3-run home run, his 22nd as the Cubs beat the crosstown White Sox. Score one for the north side. 2 home runs for Griffey Jr. as Cincinnati just pounds the Indians in the Battle of Ohio. 28 for Griffey on the year, and look at those Giants staying red hot. Brosius lifts a fly ball to center. It's well hit, but playable for Peyton. 1 away.
Well, I'll tell you one thing about the San Francisco Giants. They can lose some games, and they can come right back and win some games. They're like Baltimore, good or bad.
That's it seemed to scare a lot of managers in the National League West at the start of play, and they're starting to play well. A lot of love in the stands. Even you know, a Met fan and a Yankee fan helping one another out with the beers. Some things just transcend, you know, who you root for, like getting your food and beverage on. One ball and no strikes on Chuck Knobloch.
I think that guy was from the rock group Steely Dan.
Really? Do you
Yeah,
think that?
That's what I think, yeah. He was a Steely Dan guy.
Looked more like John Popper from Blues Traveler. Whatever, they're all out. No one knows what it's like to be the sad man. Tommy, can you hear me? Nice to see you, Mr. Townsend. 3 balls and a strike on Chuck Knobloch. Knobloch, the 4-time All-Star, not going to Atlanta next week. So many good second basemen in Major League Baseball. Knobloch puts a charge in a 3-1 pitch, lines it to left. It hangs up for Lenny Harris. 2 fly ball outs. Copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Office of the Commissioner of Baseball, may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent. Get that out of the way early tonight, partner. We're in for a fun night of baseball. Here's Derek Jeter. Interesting graphic we show you on Derek Jeter. Guy who wears only one of 2 single-digit numbers not retired in this franchise's history.
And if he plays the way he has started his career, they're going to retire his number 2 if he decides to stay as a Yankee.
Soft bouncer for Melvin Mora. No problems for Glendon Rush in the 3rd. We enter the top of the 4th on a historic night in New York. The Mets and Yankees are scoreless through 3. Matt Vasgersian back with Ken Brett. Derek Bell will lead things off here in the 4th inning for the Mets. The 2-3-4 batters for Bobby Valentine's bunch. Bell, Alfonso, and Franco against the Rocket right-hander Roger Clemens. Derek Bell's base hit in the 1st inning with 1 gone, the only Met base hit so far tonight. Just 1 hit for both clubs through the first 3. It's been a well-pitched game to start between Glendon Rush and the veteran Roger Clemens. Bell picks on the first pitch and pops it up. In the corner in right, Knobloch's out there with O'Neill and Martinez, and nobody gets to it.
That ball went in that little Bermuda Triangle area down there in the right field corner. Nobody could get there. And if you look into that right field corner, you know there is no room. Once you get about 100, once you get about 50 yards past the first baseline. So if you're going to charge that right field corner, you better slow down just a bit before you get there.
Taylor made confines for left-handed power hitters, the likes of David Justice, Paul O'Neill, a power hitter to a little lesser degree, but still a guy capable of yanking 20-25 home runs.
And when David Justice was acquired by the Yankees, he was the league leader, not the league. He would be the team leader in home runs. And he's off to a bit of a slow start for New York, but he's a quality player. He's going to be fine.
1 ball and 1 strike to Derek Bell. Yeah, a lot of people suggest that Justice was the guy the Yankees really wanted. That a lot of that Sosa Gonzalez stuff, while sure you'd love to acquire a marquee player like Juan Gonzalez or Sammy Sosa, that Stick Michael, Brian Cashman, and the rest of the Yankee brain trust were really after a left-handed batter. And if it isn't true, they've spun it that way, and it sounds good.
Now they say the Yankees are looking for a starting pitcher. And, if you're not aware of it, David Cone, who started for this team and many other teams for a long time, David Cone is in the bullpen for this ballgame. And he's anxious to pitch out of the bullpen and get himself back in the good graces of the club.
David Cone is one of many players over the years to have worn both a Mets and a Yankees uniform. But with no better group can you talk about the Yankee-Met parallel than with the Yankee coaching staff. Joe Torre and his staff, of the 7 guys on the staff, 5 of them have direct links, if not as a player, then as a coach, for the guys across town. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Derek Bell. He got him swinging.
Now that's the Roger Clemens split finger pitch right there that is so tough to hit. Earlier in the year, he's probably thrown it a little too much. There's a good example of when to throw it.
We talked about the Mets and the Yankees connection. How about on that Yankee staff? Joe Torre managed the Mets and Yankee. He played for the Mets as well. Mel Stottlemyre, pitching coach for both clubs. Stottlemyre spent a lot of years as a Mets pitching coach. Willie Randolph's last uniform was that of the New York Mets. A couple other guys involved there as well. Lee Mazzilli, the first base coach for the Yankees, a longtime Met, and Don Zimmer. Don Zimmer was the first ever third baseman in Mets franchise history, that 1962 team. One ball and 1 strike to count to Edgardo Alfonso. Zim's in there somewhere.
Zim's in there behind that. There's Zim right there. That's Don Zimmer.
Yeah. Grounded past Scott Brocious. Finally, one gets past the reigning Gold Glove Award winner. Alfonso's aboard on the second hit of the night for the Mets.
One of the great things about Brocious at third base is he's got such good lateral range to his left and to his right. He is a very strong defensive third baseman. If he catches the ball, he's probably going to get up and throw him out. Very accurate arm at third base. He's got very good range to his left, which means that Derek Jeter, the shortstop, can take another step towards second base.
1 out, 1 on for Matt Franco, who did not start the ball game, but this is why he's there. Mike Piazza leading off the top of the second, hitting the head, and as you can see it on pitch tracks, way out of the strike zone. Pitch tracks, of course, provided by QuestTech.com. 1 out, 1 on for Franco. Not a horrible gig being the Mets backup catcher to Mike Piazza. But certainly Franco and the rest of the Mets would prefer to have their team leader and their most productive player out there tonight.
Yeah, the question now on Piazza, is he okay? He certainly appeared to be okay, but the test is going to be, how's he going to feel in a couple hours? Pratt, the guy that backs him up, has 6 home runs on the season, so he's got some pop. But they want Piazza behind the plate.
Ball and a strike to Matt Franco. We have spent a lot of time talking about the historical significance of this series, and it's something that certainly merits that discussion. But when you talk about it from purely a baseball standpoint, for Glendon Rusch and the Mets, this is an important game to win. They've dropped 2 in a row to the Yankees last night in the first game today. They've lost 3 of 4 to the Yankees this year, and they're trying to catch the Braves atop the AL East.
And the bigger picture, I think, is still the Mets chasing the Braves. This is a little 4-game series. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of excitement. It's the talk of the town. But starting on Monday, they won't be playing the Yankees. They'll still be playing some American League teams before the season's over, but they're still chasing the Mets. That's their first goal.
Balling 2 strikes. Fastball in at the knees. So 1 and 2 to Franco. Shea Stadium in particular has been a busy place over the past couple of weeks, with the Braves in town and the John Rocker Circus returning to Shea for 4 games. And now this big Subway Series over the weekend. It's a 2 and 2. Out of the All-Star break, the New York Mets play in Atlanta the second weekend of the second half of the season. So you're right, bigger things around the corner after this Subway Series is done. A base hit for Franco.
I wonder if this didn't look like the split finger pitch from Roger Clemens. Yes, it is. Look at that ball dip at the end, and look how he stays with it. Pretty good job of hitting right there on a pitch that ended up out of the strike zone. And one of the interesting things about being in the big leagues as a hitter, you can swing the bat. And you can hit good pitches. And the pitchers that are successful consistently make good pitches, and they will win in the long run.
0-1 to Robin Ventura, strikeout victim his first time up tonight. And the biggest applause all night goes to the goofy fan that made the great one-handed catch. But Godin, if you like pitching, one of those rare 2000 season pitching duels underway, and it's still very early tonight. Oh, 1 to Ventura, misses high and away.
You know, you talk about pitching. I thought that the game pitched by Dwight Gooden today, and I think that you and I both watched that game at the hotel before we came over here for the night contest. Dwight Gooden was very good this afternoon. He had been released by 2 teams this year. The latest of those 2 teams, the Tampa Bay Devils.
And what a great story it would be if the Yankees find help with one of New York's all-time favorites, really literally off the scrap heap.
And it's interesting that people were saying that if he did not have a good game, they might let him go right away. The question right now is, does he deserve another start? We'll see.
Ventura's caught looking. Wasn't looking for the fastball on the inside. Second strikeout of the inning for Clemens, his third of the night.
And that's the second time tonight Clemens has struck out. And I think the key to that at bat was he gets ahead, 0-2, throws a bad pitch, and look at Clemens. Goes inside with the fastball, and he does the same thing that Jeter did earlier in the ballgame. He freezes him inside with the fastball.
That's the strikeout pitch that got Ventura looking. Pitch Tracks brought to you by QuestTech.com.
Right on the black. That's where you want it to be.
Zeal now with 2 men on. 8th on the all-time punch-out list with 3,405. Next up in the radar is Walter Johnson. Clemens just might catch the big train soon. To Zeal.
And this is the kind of pitcher he can be. You know, Roger has always had very good control. He has struggled his last couple of years, and they are on their feet in this ballpark. And it is only the 4th inning.
Clemens creeping up on a number of statistics. Our Toyota career wins list. The Rocket at 38, 252 in between a couple of Hall of Famers. Carl Hubble due up next.
Bob Gibson, what a great pitcher he was. He wasn't afraid to pitch in and up.
Zeal chops one to the left side. Going to be a tough play for Brocious. Throw to first. Gets him by an eyelash. Yankee Stadium getting loud as Clemens strands a pair in the 4th. Our historic night of baseball continues at Yankee Stadium in the midst of a good one, scoreless as we move to the bottom of the 4th inning. And if you were watching our telecast earlier tonight, you heard Ken and I discussing how New York City Mayor Rudolph Giuliani was in town at Shea Stadium unapologetically rooting for his Yankees, and he's made the doubleheader. And I've always wanted to say this. Good morning, Mr. Mayor.
Very nice to see you.
That is good evening.
This is a historic day. This is a historic day for New York City. I mean, this is the first time we've ever had an interleague doubleheader like this.
Paul O'Neill leads things off here in the bottom of the 4th inning. Well, Mr. Mayor, you, as we talked about earlier, you are an unapologetic Yankee fan. And for viewers tuned in around the country, because this is being shot into places other than New York, talk about how much difficulty and how much flack you may get from Met fans for wearing that Yankee cap around.
Plenty. I get a very different reception at Shea Stadium than I do at Yankee Stadium. I was there last night and this afternoon. They're yelling, "Go home to the Bronx."
0-2 to Paul O'Neill. I might say that Ken and I were discussing earlier, we've been hearing in the media for some time about how traffic is going to be snarled and getting from point A to point B. That 7 train, it's going to be a mess. It was a piece of cake today to get around the city, and I think the city did a phenomenal job in anticipation of this big day.
Well, we're talking about 140,000 people, 130,000 people altogether.
We thought it was mainly because you were in charge. That's what we thought.
No, it's unbelievable the number of people that come to the city. We're going to have 33 million visitors this year.
Wow.
So you get used to being crowded, and then you try to work with it. You try to figure out how you can move traffic.
Well, tell us what was more difficult for the city, organizationally speaking. John Rocker and the Braves in town, or this Subway series?
John Rocker. No question
Without
about it.
batting an eyelash.
We held our breath when that happened. That 4 days. But I'm very proud of the Mets fans. They did it. They were wonderful. Very classic.
Did you have anything to do with all the hoopla surrounding that, or was that out of your hands?
No, we did a little bit. We talked to the commissioner of baseball and asked him if he could convince John not to go on the 7 train.
And that worked. And O'Neill's caught looking. Glendon Rush spinning a dandy so far. That's his 4th punch out of the night.
We also had 500 police officers in Shea Stadium. This is quite a pitcher's duel.
It's that rare 2000 season pitcher's duel, and something that certainly fans of New York baseball can appreciate.
Well, how about that? The first 2 games of this season, the Mets have scored a total of 3 runs.
Yeah, I don't understand.
So the Yankee pitching is all of a sudden, and everybody says the Yankees are struggling. The Yankees are struggling, and they have had some problems this year. Where are they, Mr. Mayor?
Veteran team.
They're in first place, aren't they?
And veteran teams really play better in the second half of the season.
And I think veteran teams find ways to win when they're not playing their best. And this is a veteran team.
And they've had a lot of injuries. Every one of their 5 starting pitchers has been injured at one time or another in the first half of the season.
And if you look back on the last couple of years, the Yankees, at least one part of their club that has always been together has been the starting pitcher.
Absolutely right.
Ball and no strikes to count on Bernie Williams. Switch hitter in from the right side. That one's line foul.
But I think what you're feeling here is the anticipation of possibly a Subway World Series. Last year we thought we might get it, with the Mets and the Yankees both being in the playoffs for the first time ever in the same year. This year they're both such good teams.
Well, this year,
there's a hope.
This year people are saying that the White Sox, and granted we're only halfway through the season, White Sox right now may be the best team in the American League, but a lot is going to happen between now and then. And a lot is going to happen perhaps before the trading deadline.
The White Sox haven't been there before. The Yankees have been there before. The Mets have been in the playoffs for the last 2 years.
Ball and 2 strikes on Bernie Williams. He calls timeout 11th hour like, and he's accommodated by home plate umpire Doug Eddings.
At the end, Atlanta is always there.
Much to the chagrin of many.
Yeah. I'm shocked that Cleveland is, 8 or 9 games out?
Probably 11.
11?
Yeah, how about that? Who'd have thought?
And lost tonight.
We were talking earlier, Mr. Mayor, about the fact that the last time something like this happened, the Subway doubleheader, with doubleheader being played by 2 of the same teams, different venues, it was before the Subway was even open.
1903.
1903, so you can't even call that a Subway series or Subway doubleheader. That was a trolley doubleheader.
Well, this was a city that had 3 major league teams. The Yankees, the Dodgers, and the Giants. And it created tremendous excitement. I grew up during a lot of that era, so I remember it.
There's a payoff home to Bernie Williams. Got him swinging. 2 punch outs to start the 4th by Glendon Rush.
Yeah, Glendon Rush is a guy that, he comes into the ballgame 6-6, ERA 4.4. He has been outstanding in this ballgame. Look at the big break on the curveball. 2 strikeouts in this inning. Got O'Neill, got Williams. He struck out Jeter earlier in the ball game. Also got Spencer and Turner earlier. And the Mets need somebody, the way they're swinging the bats right now, to go out there and try to shut down the Yankees. And at least through 3+ innings now, Rush has done a good job.
Tino Martinez now with 2 gone.
Now, you were born in Brooklyn, weren't you?
I was born in Brooklyn, 1 mile from Ebbets Field.
Okay, what hospital?
But I was a Yankee fan.
Were you born in Bay Ridge?
I was born in, I think it was Midwood Hospital.
Okay, I was born in Bay Ridge.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
I'm a Bay Ridge kid.
Were you a Dodger fan?
Yeah, I was growing up because I lived in L.A.
Fly ball handled by Derek Bell. Mayor Rudy Giuliani, pleasure to have you in the booth. Thanks for stopping by. Continued success to you and your Yankees.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks a lot.
End of 4. We're still scoreless. Top half of the 5th inning. Scoreless in the Bronx. Jay Payton leads things off for the Mets. Bottom 3rd of the order against Roger Clemens, Payton, Pratt, and Mora. Jay Payton bounced to 3rd in his first at-bat tonight. Coming into this ball game, you see Clemens versus Rush on the scorecard, and certainly experience in the favor of the Rocket, pitching in his 17th season. He was in the middle of a fine major league career before Glendon Rush had ever been drafted by the Royals. So far tonight, Rush has posted a pretty impressive 4-inning start. 1 ball and 1 strike to count on Jay Payton, leading things off in the 5th.
Interesting story in New York. Darrell Hamilton, the last time we did a Mets game on FX was about 2 weeks ago. Darrell Hamilton said he was about ready to come back and thought he would be back in the lineup in a few days, and the question was, what were they going to do with Jay Payton, who just got off a 15-game hitting streak, just had that broken. Well, Hamilton evidently re-injured that foot and may have to have surgery again.
Payton with a fly ball into the gap in left center. Williams and Spencer there. Bernie Williams, 1 away. Let's take a look at our 7-Eleven trivia question tonight. We're the only 2 players to play for the Mets, Yankees, Dodgers, and Giants.
That is a good one.
We will revisit that issue next half inning.
I'm going to have to get out my Funkin' Wagnalls for that one.
Boy, I'll tell you what, I'm not even going to try to say that. 1 gone now for Todd Pratt. Well, I know that a lot of big-name players have worn the Met and the Yankee uniform. Guys like Yogi Berra, Ricky Henderson, Dave Kingman, John Candelaria. There have been some lesser-known players to have done the same thing. Tom Sturdivant, Marvelous Marv Throneberry. Hey, Marvelous Marv Throneberry might be one of the answers to that question, by the way. We'll get into that later on. Here's the 0-2 home. Ball and 2 strikes on Todd Pratt. He, like Payton before him, bounced out to 3rd in his first at-bat this evening. Oh, didn't miss by much.
0-2 to 2-2. This is the kind of a hitter right here, Pratt. Even though he's got 6 home runs, you don't want to go 3-2. Get him out 1-2. Certainly get him out 2-2. Pitch just off the strike zone.
Got him. Number 4 for Clemens. Tomorrow, Chicago first baseman Mark Gray shows you why he's headed for the television broadcast booth once his playing days are over. That's This Week in Baseball, Sunday at 9:30 Eastern and Pacific on FX. It's as close to the game as you can get.
You know, I did watch that show today because it was on just prior to the first game of this doubleheader, and it was a fun show. And Grace did a good job. Did a very good job.
This Week in Baseball.
Yeah. A nice little show.
0-1 on Melvin Mora. Clemens has struck out 4 tonight. His counterpart, 25-year-old left-hander Glendon Rush, has racked up 5. Mora lines over Knobloch into right. A base hit out of the 9-hole.
Since the singles in the 4th inning by Alfonso and Franco, Roger has really done a much better job of getting ahead in the strike zone. Now he's got 2 strikes on a hitter. Be a little more aggressive than the number 9 hitter. Make him put the ball in play. Ball was down, he got a base hit. Give him credit. Your job is about 50% easier as a pitcher if you can get ahead.
So that'll bring up Lenny Harris now with a 2-out base runner aboard with good speed. Melvin Mora, that man at first. Lenny Harris was reacquired by the Mets in early June in his second tour of duty with the New York Mets. He finished the '98 season as a Met. Clemens has his eye on Mora. Harris known primarily as a pinch hitter. One of the best active pinch hitters in Major League Baseball. Guys like Lenny Harris, John Vander Wal, so important to contending teams who just need to fine-tune with bench players, 24th and 25th men. Harris getting the start in left field in the second game of the doubleheader tonight. Benny Agbayani started this afternoon.
Yeah, it's funny. We did a couple games or did one game in Colorado recently. Vander Wal was getting a lot of playing time and doing a good job as a regular player, trying to kill that image as a pinch hitter.
He could have a pretty healthy career as a guy who comes in and hits 300 off the bench. Harris lays off. Ball and no strikes to Lenny Harris. Melvin Mora hasn't had a chance to take a big aggressive lead against Clemens because he's kept him close during the at-bat. One and one. Derek Bell waiting on deck with 2 gone for the Mets.
Is it a time for somebody to run here? You know, worst thing that happens is he gets thrown out and you got your leadoff hitter coming up to start the next inning. Some managers like to run in this situation, try to put a runner in scoring position.
One and two. Fans start to make some noise behind Clemens. That guy's making most of it himself. It's Harris that steps out of the box. Top of the 5th inning, a scoreless tie. To 2-2 on Harris. Clemens against the Mets, as we mentioned, before the advent of interleague play in '97, when Clemens was a Blue Jay, had not seen the team for over 10 years. Last pitched against the Mets in a World Series as a Boston Red Sox. There goes Mora. No throw down by Turner. A stolen base for Melvin Mora. Picked a good time to run. It's a full count now on Lenny Harris.
And I wonder if he might have crossed him up right there. Pitch was in the dirt. Tough pitch to catch and throw out a runner running on the pitch.
Well, regardless, there's a runner in scoring position now. A base hit could drive in the game's first run. Good speed in scoring position in Mel Mora. Here's the payoff to Lenny Harris. Ball 4. That walk from Clemens to Harris is the first base on balls all night.
Here's the pitch tracks against Lenny Harris. He goes up and away, and then he gets ahead in the strikes. Goes 1 and 2, and then he walks him. Down 0 and up and away. So from 1 and 2 to a base on balls, Roger can't like that.
Clemens never came inside to Lenny Harris. Now it's Derek Bell, one of the hotter Met hitters. D. Bell so far today, including this afternoon's game, 3 for 6 with an RBI.
Let's not forget, both pitchers on this team or in this game have been warned because of a hit batter, Mike Piazza, and then a retaliation on Tino Martinez. So if you knock somebody down again, and it's done in the aggressive minds of the umpire, if it's too aggressive, he can run you.
1 ball and 1 strike to Bell.
And we'll get a little stink out of that if that happens, if it's just up and in, knock somebody down.
Oh, yeah.
And Roger Clemens is the kind of pitcher that likes to pitch inside, and inside aggressively.
It wouldn't take much to flare things up out there. The ball and a strike on Derek Bell. Having a fine season in his first as a Met.
Boy, he tied him up right there. Could not get any extension on that fastball. And they're on their feet again. Where do you want to pitch him? I think you want to pitch him in, don't you? He likes the ball middle of the plate. Gets a little more extension there. Pitch him in. Work him in. Make him aware you'll pitch him in. You can always get him out of the way after that.
And Clemens wants to chat with Turner.
And I wonder if they might not want to just change the signs here. A lot of times as a catcher, you might be first sign after 3, it might be first sign after 2. And he just wants to make him aware. He might change the signs right here because of a runner on second base.
Mets have had runners at first and second against Clemens in each of the past 2 innings. Bell behind in the count, runners go. And Bell rips one into the corner and left foul. So the Mets send the base runners on 1 and 2 to Derek Bell.
Where was that pitch? That pitch was in. I tell you what, he got around on that one. Hit that one right on the hard part of the bat. Sometimes when they're really aggressive on that inside pitch, they might think about going away on the pitch afterwards. Let's see where they set up defensively. Watch the catcher here.
Turner set up right down Main Street. Clemens threw a split finger pitch in the dirt. So it's 2 balls and 2 strikes on Derek Bell. Another right-handed hitter waiting on deck. Edgardo Alfonso due up next. Mora the runner at second base. Harris at first. A scoreless tie in the balance. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Derek Bell. Fastball stays high.
And on the 3-2 pitch, everybody off and running here. The runner on first base not being held on. Lenny Harris on first, good speed, going to be able to get a big lead off first base.
Something in the gap could play to pair for Bell.
Lenny's got to get a bigger lead than that. He's got to get off. He's got to get off another 10 feet.
Line back up the middle, a base hit, and the Mets are the first to score tonight. Here comes Mora. They hold Harris at third, and Derek Bell comes through again.
So a 2-out rally. First 2 hitters retired by Clemens, but the number 9 hitter gets a base hit, steals a base, and scores on a single by Bell. Mets have scored 4 runs in this series now. This is game number 3. And where was the pitch? They want the pitch down and away. Where is it? He gets it in and he gets it up.
Yeah,
yes.
Derek Bell, he is driven in the first run of the night. And now it's Alfonso. Mets looking for more. A run in, runners at the corners with 2 gone. So Derek Bell, the guy who last year hit a paltry .236, dropped almost 90 points off his average from the previous season in his first year as a Met after that big blockbuster trade coming over from the Astros. Having a great year and a great series against the crosstown rival Yankees. It's a ball and no strikes on Edgardo Alfonso.
Of course, Bell at first base has good speed, but I doubt with the number 3 hitter up, you're going to take many chances here. 2 balls, no strikes. Don't forget the first 2 hitters retired here. A single, a walk, another single. He falls behind. 85 pitches. 35 balls and 50 strikes. You'd like to see a better ratio than 35 and 50. 2 strikes to 1 ball, much better ratio.
Something Mel Stottlemyre and Joe Torre are certainly aware of. The 2-0 home is grounded on back the middle again. At a plate, Lenny Harris. Back to back. RBI, 2 out base hits. Both of them coming up the middle against Clemens. It makes it 2-0 Mets.
And we are in the top of the 5th inning, and he walks 1 hitter. And that 1 hitter comes around to score. Lenny Harris.
3 hits in the inning for the Mets. 6 singles on the night against the Rockets. All 6 hits issued by Clemens of the base hit variety. This one, the second of 2 run-scoring singles against Clemens in the 5th. It makes it 2-0 Mets. It all started with the 2-out base hit by Melvin Mora. Then the walk to Harris. RBI singles by Bell and Alfonso would follow. And now it's Matt Franco, guy who came in for Mike Piazza at DH after Piazza was hit by a pitch to lead off the second. And Franco's issued strike 1. Bell and Alfonso, the base runners. Good speed out there for New York. Already more runs and more hits against Clemens against the Mets tonight. Then the Tampa Bay Devil Rays were able to knock out against him in 7 innings his last start.
But the Yankees are going to win this division. They certainly need Roger to come back. They need El Duque to come back, and El Duque did win the first game of this series. Both those guys just recently off the disabled list. They are hanging on this year.
A much older team here for the world champs this year. We've got a couple of guys, a couple of notable veteran players in the final year of contract deal.
Paul O'Neill is one of those players.
Bernie Williams signed a re-up not long ago. Jeter doesn't have a contract yet through the season.
He's getting a raise next year.
Oh, I got to believe that's imminent.
He's an arbitration type of player. The Yankees, I think the Yankees tried to sign Jeter to a long-term deal, and I don't know how far apart they were, but he got a good raise this year, and he will do well yet next year. And I would think the Yankees would want to sign him up to a long-term deal. I think he wants to stay. He's very popular in town, and he's a great shortstop.
You know, in as much as everybody talks about the Yankees, quote, struggles in the year 2000, they are still the team to catch, in addition to being the defending world champs in the American League East. A 1-game advantage over Toronto. Toronto's just watching Boston and New York beat each other up, and they're slipping in there.
Toronto has done a good job to get where they were, and they were in 3rd and 4th place a lot of the times this year until New York and Boston struggled. They went to 1st place pretty quick, and now they have lost enough games where the Yankees have overtaken them. This could be a 3-team race before it's over, but the Red Sox right now are struggling pitching-wise.
2 balls and 2 strikes on Matt Franco. Clemens has really slowed the pace with runners on, working very deliberately here in the top of the 5th inning as his pitch count nears 100. A lot of talk about the Yankees making a move to shore up the rotation. Here's the 2-2 home. Oh, that didn't miss by much.
Bad one here would load him up, and here we are again in that 3-2 situation where the runners will be off and going. And let's take a look at the last pitch. I thought the pitch was inside and probably a little high. And I hate to say that a pitch right there is high. I don't think it is personally. The umpires do.
Payoff home. It's grounded up the middle. Jeter is there behind the bag. Quick throw. Takes care of Franco. Good defense behind Clemens. Limits the Mets' damage to 2. Couple of runs on 3 hits. Midway point. Mets lead it. Oh, it's the worst looking hat I ever saw. What do you buy a hat like that and you get a free bowl of soup? Looks good on you though. And a base hit for David Justice to lead things off in the home half of the 5th.
Second hit by the Yankees tonight. First hit came way back in the first inning. Single to left by Paul O'Neill.
Hey, let's revisit our 7-Eleven trivia question. An inning ago, we queried who were the only 2 players to play for the Mets, Yankees, Dodgers, and Giants. Spin that answer. Straw and Jose Vizcaíno. Vizcaíno was recently shipped to the Yankees.
Now let's see how Glendon Rush does in this inning. His team has gone out, given him a couple of runs, and now all of a sudden, here come the Bombers.
Bombing with nothing more than singles against Glendon Rush so far, but it's his start. Back-to-back base hits against the Met left-hander open the bottom of the 5th.
So Rush, through 4 innings, gives up but 1 hit. And all of a sudden, that has been doubled here in the 5th, and I wouldn't be surprised if perhaps Chris Turner might think about bunting in this situation. A guy that doesn't get to play a whole lot, bunt him over, try to tie this game up right here with your number 9 hitter, Scott Brocious. Of course, you don't see this in the National League because there is no DH, and the pitcher is batting 9th. Not tonight.
And a huge difference between having your pitcher batting 9th and Scott Brocious, a former World Series MVP. It's not just a $2.10 hitting middle infielder in the 9-hole for Joe Torre tonight. So a lineup card alignment that may pay the Yankees a big dividend. Turner indeed looking to bunt. He did not offer at it, says home plate umpire Doug Eddings. To count a ball and no strikes.
Now, interesting now that the third baseman, Robin Ventura, calls timeout. I think he was a little surprised perhaps that they were going to bunt. And now they're going to have a little meeting. Zila's on the mound. Ventura's on the mound. Now they know what they're going to do defensively. And of course, if you're the hitter in this situation, the ideal place to bunt it right to the third baseman. Make him field the ball, move up the runners.
Turner drops down the bunt. Pratt's got to make the play from behind the plate. One catcher retires another. Turner does the job. Justice and Spencer advance 90 feet each.
The Mets tried to pull off the old shortstop play right there. But the bunt was good enough where the only play was to first. Now watch this right here. He's in his windup. Let's freeze it right here. Here's the shortstop. The shortstop's going to go this way. Third baseman's going to come in, and they're going to try to get him at third base. So let's continue it right now. Nope, they didn't do it that time. They did it on the pitch before that, where the shortstop went over to third.
So now a chance for Brocious to try and drive in one or both. Had that huge 1998 World Series we referenced earlier, batting almost 500. Runners at second and third for him with only one away. Takes that big slow breaking pitch for a strike.
Notice the speed on the slow breaking ball, 71 miles an hour. Now his fastball is shy of 90. But it doesn't matter how hard you throw in this game. It's the other stuff you mix in. Good slow curveball and a changeup. You can get by with it. He has.
Back to the fastball that looks a lot quicker than the 85-mile-an-hour job that Rush throws, being set up by the good breaking pitch. 1 and 2.
If he's throwing 85, 86, 87 miles an hour, it looks a lot quicker than the 71 miles an hour his curveball is. Now he's ahead 1 and 2, and he's got real good control.
Top of the order, Chuck Knobloch on deck with one away. Big at-bat for the Yankees. They jam him. And it's still a ball and 2 strikes as Brocious fouls it away. Bobby Valentine trying to push the right buttons to beat the crosstown rival Yankees tonight. Through the hole on the right side, it'll score 1. A 1-2 pitch that Brocious stays with and lines into the opposite field.
Brocious in that situation, I think, is just trying to make contact. And the runner on second, Spencer, thought that was just high enough off the ground where he holds at second base, so he only moves to third. Here's the pitch. Inside outs. It doesn't get much on the ball, but look at the hole on the right side. And so the Yankees now tying run on third, still only one out.
Runners at the corners. A chance for Rush to minimize the damage at one if he can get the ground ball off the bat of Chuck Knobloch. Spencer at third, Brocious at first. Knobloch yanks one into the corner in left. Lenny Harris back on it. Good night now. Lenny thought it may be in the glove. We had to make sure. First pitch to Chuck Knobloch. Yankees go on top by a pair.
Knobloch only 4 home runs on the season, and I would think that is the biggest of the 4. And just like that, Yankees 4 in the 5th and lead it 4-2. Here's the pitch. He's first ball swinging. He's been swinging at a lot of first balls in this series, and he just barely gets enough of it. Now watch the left fielder, Lenny Harris. Watch him go up, and then look at his glove. No, it's not there. Oh my God, he had it in his glove, didn't he?
Assist to Lenny Harris.
Assist to the fence.
Oh my goodness, that is a great shot out there, folks.
Fence knocks the ball out of the glove into the home run area. Boy, oh boy, what a tough play. Talk about a game of inches, huh?
Man alive, and Lenny Harris, not a guy who's in left field every night. Derek Jeter, the batter now. 4 runs in the inning so far for the Yankees. Still only 1 away. Jeter's hitless tonight. This one popped into left center. A long run for Payton and Harris. Harris is back on this one and makes the over-the-shoulder Willie Mays style grab.
I'll tell you what, Lenny's getting his money's worth in this ball game. Almost makes a circus catch, which would have kept the Mets in the lead. And now a long ways to go on another running catch.
Derek Jeter had to look over his shoulder and say, what the Vic Wirtz is going on out there?
Now he knows he's not in trouble yet because he's not on the dirt. Now he knows he's in a little bit of trouble, and bang, into the wall he goes. But he holds on this time.
A lot of fence banging by outfielders in the National League these days. Man, Steve Finley went into the fence hard this past week. Lenny Harris goes crashing into the Yankee Stadium wall here tonight. And how about last night? This man, Paul O'Neill, saved what looked like a sure game-tying home run by Derek Bell. The right field corner at Shea Stadium. O'Neill went up to take one away.
Yeah, last night's ball game won by the Yankees strictly due to 2 key defensive plays. That was one, and El Duque made the other one. He turned a line drive up the middle with runners on first and second and nobody out into a quick double play.
There is that man with 4 runs in, 2 gone in the 5th inning, bases empty. O'Neill's 1 for 2 tonight. Took an 0 for 5 at Shea this afternoon. Glendon Rush trying to get it back. There's activity behind Glendon Rush in the New York bullpen for the first time tonight. Lefty-lefty matchup. Rush in front 0-2. Bobby M. Jones is the left-hander. Pat Mahomes, the former Twin, the right-hander in the bullpen for New York. Paul O'Neill, good night. The strikeout recorded, not before the damage is done. Lenny Harris made a shot at it. Almost brought it back, but the home run makes it 4-2 Pinstripers. FX Baseball Saturday Night is brought to you by Toyota. Toyota, making it happen every day. Well, Lenny Harris tried to make it happen in the last half inning, but instead of making a home run saving highlight film type catch, he made a catch that although we'll still make the highlight film. Led to 3 runs for the Yankees. He put it back over the wall. Home run credited for Chuck Knobloch. Robin Ventura leads off the top of the 6th inning. Mets in a 2-run hole. Picks on the first pitch, a little tapper for Knobloch. Good throw to first. Everybody waits with bated breath for that.
Every throw, an adventure.
Well, he came back into the dugout in between innings, and it was still smarting.
To come that close to making a great catch, and more importantly than the great catch, of course, keeping your team in the lead. I think that's what this is all about.
Ay, ay, ay. One gone for Zeal, hitless tonight. Ball game was scoreless through 4. The Mets played it a pair on back-to-back 2-out RBI singles. The Yankees got theirs the big way. An RBI knock by Brocious, then the 3-run dinger by Knobloch. 2-0.
Clemens not happy with that last pitch. As soon as that pitch ended up high, you can see he said something to himself like, doggone it, don't fall behind, don't get up like that. A little subtle gesture like that.
Zeal into the gap in right center. O'Neill on his horse, still chasing, gets there to put it away. I seem to think Paul O'Neill may have lost his step. He still makes all the plays.
Now it's interesting, when the Mets scored 2 in the top of the 5th, we brought up the fact that Rush has got to shut down the Yankees in the bottom of the 5th. He couldn't do it. Now it's just the opposite. Clemens has got to shut down the Mets in the top of the 6th, 2 up and 2 down.
Well, when the Mets scored their 2 runs in the 5th, the rally did not begin until there were 2 out with a Melvin Morris single.
And I think Clemens getting to the point of the ball game now, 6th inning. He's probably close to 100 pitches. He's probably saying to himself, I'm smelling a win. He's going to get that 2nd win right now. Get a little more aggressive.
A guy like Clemens smelling a win. That's the pitching equivalent to a veteran hitter trying to finish over 300 smelling a base hit in late September. You just kick it into that 2nd gear.
Clemens probably smelled a win about 2 p.m. this afternoon. I feel good today. I can't wait to take the hill.
0-2, the count to Jay Payton. Clemens has struck out 4.
I think sometimes when Roger tries to rear back and fire it, that's what happens. He gets a little behind the ball, and when you get behind the ball and your arm is just a little too far behind the body, the ball stays up in the strike zone. Try to get that little something extra. There's a split finger in the dirt. 0-2, quickly 2-2.
All 6 of the New York hits, singles. In fact, the only one of the 11 hits tonight that's not been a base hit was Knobloch's home run, and Clemens has tipped triple digits, 100 pitches by the Rocket.
Oh, he got a little bit left. Big, strong guy.
Payton pops it up. Paul O'Neill gathers it in. I'm not the man they think I am at all. Oh, no. He's the Rocket man. Today in the Big Apple, the New York Mercantile Exchange gave away Metro cards for a free one-way ride from Shady Yankee Stadium for the first 3,000 fans who produced ticket stubs to both games. Whether it was free or whether you had to reach into your rat hole for the $1.50, it was certainly worth your while to take the subway from Shea to Yankee tonight. It's our 2nd in this historic New York twin bill. It's the Yankees who are in the better New York state of mind currently, up by 2 as we go to the bottom of the 6th inning.
I think the subway ride with a bunch of fans from the Mets and the Yankees on it would have been a good, fun ride. I think they're probably having a little fun with each other.
I got to admit that a lot of people, as we talked to the mayor, were fearful of what may happen on those trains. But as long as Archie and Edna were there, things were all right. Ball and a strike to Bernie Williams. Williams has been quiet tonight so far. In fact, he's been quiet today. 0 for 2 in the first game, and that ended his 17-game hitting streak. And 0 for 2 so far tonight.
Ball's got to be caught right there. Look at him. Oh, please, please give me the ball.
Bernie Williams rung up for the second time tonight. That is strikeout number 6 for Glendon Rush. Fans tomorrow catch an encore of some of the best hard-hitting, show-stopping moments from last season's Tough Man. See the best of the best in one action-packed episode, The Best of Tough Man number 4. Tomorrow at 2 only on FX. Be sure to watch all the new episodes. That's Friday at 10.
Now you do that show, and I know you're too shy to tell everybody that you are the man. You are the tough man.
I don't know about that.
You like it?
The Tough Man is Lawrence Taylor.
You see some good shots?
See some great shots. You've watched the show.
Yes, I have. But you see all the shows.
We see all the shows, and I'll tell you that Football Players versus Wrestlers show that aired on FX a couple of weeks ago was a lot of fun, and it was 2 hours of some of the best action-packed Tough Man stuff you've ever seen. 2 balls and a strike on Tino Martinez. Tino, get me a tissue. Only 8 home runs this season. 44 of them in '97. Got after that blistering start, and it was the most by a Yankee first baseman in a lot of years, as you saw a moment ago. Lou Gehrig hit 49 in 1936. Most by any Yankee since the big 1961 season when Maris hit 61 and Mantle 54. You know, that's something that may surprise people, as Martinez is caught looking. Glendon rushed back to Dealin after that road bump in the 5th.
He has had one bad inning, but the one bad inning right now could cost him the ball game. Drops down a little bit, and look at the response by Tino. Just on the inside corner. 73 miles an hour.
He ain't gonna blow it past you, but he'll make you swing and miss and look foolish all the same. David Justice now with 2 gone. The left-handed hitting designated hitter is 1 for 2. He opened the 5th inning with a base hit and would later score in front of Scott Brosius' RBI knock. Came to the Yankees with 21 home runs. Has hit 1 as a member of the Yankees. But at the time the deal was consummated, Justice had more home runs than Sammy Sosa and Juan Gonzalez, the 2 people that everybody thought the Yankees were after. 2-1.
Yankees wanting another left-handed hitter. They got the hitter they wanted. Gave up a good young player in Ricky Leday. And where does he like the ball? He likes the ball down the old Broadway there, right down old Broadway. Does not like the ball down and in. Most left-handers are low ball hitters, but not David Justice in this situation. That 243 zone is prime for a left-hander. Go down and get it, and especially here, drive it into the right field corner.
Justice pops into short right center. Bell, Payton. Payton's place. In the high school halls and the shopping malls, Rush rocks. Back from the Bronx, welcome back to Yankee Stadium. Yankees on top of their crosstown rival New York Mets by a pair. And a fun one to watch so far on a historic day of baseball in New York. Matt Vasgersian back with Ken Brett. Thanks for tuning us in on FX Baseball Saturday night tonight. Still plenty of baseball left. Top of the 7th inning, Mets down a pair. Send up Pratt, Mora, and Harris against the 17-year veteran Roger Clemens. Clemens over 100 pitches. Gave up the 2 runs on 3 hits in the 5th. It looked like the Mets may be able to chip away at the veteran right-hander. but he came back to get the side in order in the 6th inning as he prepares to do battle with Todd Pratt here, top 7.
Yeah, after his team scores 4 runs, he puts the Mets down quickly and quietly in the 6th. And the question is, how long will Roger Clemens go in the ball game as we get to the 7th inning? Don't forget, their bullpen still pretty unworked in this series. Yankee starters in the series have done a good job, although they do have some young guys out there with very little experience.
In game 1 of the doubleheader at Shea this afternoon, the Yankees used 3 relievers behind Doc Gooden's 5-inning start. Jason Grimsley, Jeff Nelson, and Mariano Rivera all got into the contest for Joe Torre. 3 guys used out of the Mets bullpen as well earlier this afternoon, as Dennis Cook, Turk Wendell, and John Franco were used.
Doc Gooden, what a good job he had done. It's funny, yesterday when I checked into the hotel, Doc was checking in at the same time. He looked good, seemed pretty relaxed.
First time he was on the mound at Shea since '94, and he earned the win today. Pitching 5. Pitched just well enough to earn that victory. Pratt on a 1-1 pitch pops up into right center. Bernie Williams runs it down. Anything Bernie can run to and touch is usually his. You saw O'Neill stop in pursuit, although Paul certainly would have had a play on that ball as well. So 1 gone for Clemens. That'll bring up the guy who started the 2-out run scoring rally in the 5th, shortstop Melvin Mora. Now, Melvin Mora had been around a while before he put himself on the map last year with that great NLCS series against Atlanta. He hit almost 500 in that series for Bobby Valentine. The Mets signed him before the 1999 spring training season had closed, and a guy who Bobby V likes to plug out there occasionally to jumpstart things and give some of his starters days off. But Mora's out there as the starting shortstop these days, in the absence of Ray Ordonez, who has that broken left arm, in the absence of Kurt Abbott, who's got a bulging disc in his back. Mora's going to have to play every day now, which sometimes brings out a different type of player.
Yeah, some players need time off every now and then, and Mora's one of those guys that can play lots of different positions for you and spell certain people. Now he's the shortstop.
Until further notice, Melvin Mora is the man.
There was a great story about a player, I won't mention his name, but he was a utility player and somebody got hurt and he had to play all the time, and his deficiencies started to stick out. He said to the manager, "Bench me or trade me."
See, now you tell me a story like that, and I've got to pump you for who it was.
I can't tell you.
Whenever you put that disclaimer on that, I got to find out. Will you tell me after the show?
Yes, I will.
All right. Ball and 2 strikes to count on Melvin Mora.
Bench me or trade me. Most guys, it's just the opposite. Boy, I wish I could play a little more. Man.
Lenny Harris waiting on deck. The top of the order due up next. A ball and 2 strikes on Mora. Melvin Mora, a longtime Astros minor leaguer. Lenny Harris won a bunch of different uniforms. Clemens has struck out 4 through 6 1/3 tonight. And again, all 6 hits have been singles by the Mets. If you're tuning us in late, the Mets have been without Mike Piazza since he was hit by a pitch to lead off the top of the 2nd. And we've got word now over the wire here in the press box at Yankee Stadium that he was removed with a slight concussion, and he was sent to the hospital for observation after they took him away from the batter's box. Mets hope to be with Piazza back in uniform tomorrow for the final game of the series. Mora lines to right. Paul O'Neill there for it. The omnipresent right fielder records out number 2.
6 in a row now retired by Roger Clemens. Yankees trying to make it 3 in a row. Tomorrow, if they can hold on tonight, they would go for the 4-game sweep And I would like to see that paper on Monday if that happens.
Oh, boy.
The Mets on the front page are going to get a little.
New York papers can be pretty rough. And I'm sure if this series ends in a sweep, and it could have been the other way around, too, whoever's on the bottom end of that thing is going to get run through the mill. Harris grounds to second on the first pitch. A successful toss by Knobloch. And Rocket has retired 7 in a row. Checking our McDonald's game summary, it's been a well-pitched ball game. Glendon Rush and Roger Clemens have matched in a dandy. Chuck Knobloch's 3-run home run, the big difference so far. It was part of a 4-run fifth. In fact, all 6 runs came in that 5th inning. Derek Bell's got a couple of singles and an RBI for the Mets. But Clemens and Rush continue to be the main focus of our story. And for Glendon Rush, who goes back to work here in the bottom of the 7th inning, he has struck out a career-high 8 Yankee batters as he works on the bottom 3rd of the order here, bottom 7th.
Yankees have 5 hits in the ball game. 4 of those 5 hits came in the 4-run bottom of the 5th.
Spencer, Turner, and Brocious, bottom 3rd of the pinstripe order here in the 7th inning. Just one of the 11 hits has been better than a single. And that was Knobloch's 3-run home run in the 5th.
Now look at Glendon Rush. 30 and 56. Much better strike-to-ball ratio. And there's another strikeout, number 9. So he continues to add on to his career high. His career high coming into the ball game was 7. He broke it with his last strikeout. That was Martinez in the 6th. And here it is, a big, slow breaking ball out of the strike zone. Has him fooled badly.
Number 9.
He just waved at that one.
Number 9. Yes. 1 gone. And here's Chris Turner. Turner has struck out tonight. In fact, the only Yankees that have not struck out tonight against Glendon Rush are Knobloch, Justice, and Brocious. It is no coincidence that those 3 players, Knobloch, Justice, and Brocious, have scored 3 of the 4 runs for the Yankees tonight. Now Rush behind 3-1. Full count to Turner.
See the fastball there, 89 miles an hour. That's about as hard as it gets from Rush. Oh,
got him looking, jammed him on the inside. Fly by night. Hey fans, Tuesday nights, FX scores big with the Perfect 10. Catch the hilarious FX original comedy Son of the Beach at 10 p.m. Then see the controversial hit Action. It's the most courageous hour of comedy. The Perfect 10, Tuesday starting at 10, only on FX. Oh, that's Jamie Bergman. Good night. Scott Brocious leads things off, and he pops up on the first offering from Rush. Derek Bell makes the grab. Rush continues to rock Yankee Stadium. The left-handers retire 7 in a row to the 8th. Yankees by a pair. Top of the 8th inning, Roger Clemens and the Yankees on top of the crosstown Mets by a pair. Has been a widely attended night. A lot of Yankee fans here, the types that David Justice is seen as a visitor. He sees him as a home guy now, but regardless, he likes their noise.
The fan support you get at Yankee Stadium is unbelievable, for the home team. I mean, I call them the ultimate 10th man because of the way that they get on the opposing team, trying to rattle them. A lot of guys hate coming into Yankee Stadium and playing, so they got the ultimate 10th man, ultimate fan support. And I'm sure this weekend it's going to be pretty wild here in New York.
Yeah, it has been wild.
Guy's a wrestler, former wrestler. Yeah. Was he in the wrestling contest?
Oh, man. I love it.
Yeah, 55,821 Yankee, Met, and other fans at the ballpark here tonight. A widely and wildly attended series between the Mets and Yankees. Derek Bell leads off.
This is a big inning right now for Roger Clemens. He's got 2, 3, and 4 coming up, even though the number 4 hitter is Franco instead of Piazza. But he'd like to get through this inning. Don't forget, he's got people in the bullpen behind him, and I would not be surprised if Mariano Rivera was available in a save situation, which this is right now.
Roger Clemens has 1 complete game under his belt this year in his 15 starts prior to tonight. Bell lines to right. O'Neill chases, but it's over his head, and Derek Bell stays red hot. His 3rd hit of the game. His 5th hit today. Had a couple of them in an RBI this afternoon across the way at Shea Stadium. Derek Bell leads off the 8th with a 2-bagger for the Mets.
That ball was hit so hard that O'Neill, who took 3 or 4 steps back, just turned his back and tried to play it off the wall. I thought when the ball left the bat, it had a chance. Pitches right down the middle of the plate. He inside outs it, and look at O'Neill in right field. No chance.
So now Clemens is going to have to contend with the heart of the Mets lineup. And remember, it is devoid of Mike Piazza, who was removed in the top of the 2nd after being hit by a pitch.
And what makes that a big play right now, Piazza being out of the ball game, is every hitter that comes to the plate is the potential tying run.
Edgardo Alfonzo tonight is 2 for 3. Drove in a run in the 5th inning with his 2nd base hit. The left-hander Mike Stanton is up. The right-hander Jeff Nelson, who pitched in the 1st game today.
Both veterans.
Both veterans and both ready if needed.
Yankees have 3 young pitchers in their bullpen with very, very little major league experience. Those would be Randy Schote, Craig Digman, and of course that would have been Ben Ford before the game, but Ben Ford was sent out prior to Dwight Gooden being activated. So I'll take that back. We got 2 very young players in the bullpen.
2 balls and a strike to Alfonzo.
And we also got a veteran out there in David Cohn.
Forget about the former Met.
Cohn was originally scheduled to pitch tomorrow's game. Andy Pettit will pitch instead. There's David.
Not a familiar setup for David Cohn working out of the bullpen. Runner in scoring position for Alfonzo. He's very good in these situations. 2 balls and 2 strikes. At the start of play today, Edgardo Alfonzo, Ken, a .359 hitter with runners in scoring position. And nobody out here in the 8th. Clemens nibbling, misses outside 3 and 2.
And of course, everybody in the National League talks about the great second baseman they have. Everybody in the American League talks about the great shortstops they have. And this is the guy that made the All-Star team, picked by the manager. At one time, late in the voting, was picked.
3-2 pitch popped him up. Looked like a split-fingered fastball that Alfonso can't handle as he pops up harmlessly to Williams. That keeps Bell stranded at second base with 1 away. That'll bring up Matt Franco now, and as we mentioned earlier, Franco out there because, for those of you who tuned in late, Mike Piazza removed after leading off the 2nd, and this is why. Got him right in the front of the helmet. He was removed and slightly concussed. Roger Clemens will be removed after 7 1/3 tonight. 55,821 on their feet. Roger back to his old self after coming off the DL. Groin problems behind him. He leaves with a 2-run lead. Well, Clemens is done after 7 1/3. A great start logged by the veteran right-hander. 7 1/3. He gives up 2 earned runs to date. That book's still open because Bell on base is his responsibility. There's the rest of the line. 7 hits, only 1 walk, and 4 punch-outs for Clemens tonight. So the veteran right-hander removed here in the 8th with a runner on. And on in his place, veteran left-hander Mike Stanton.
Mike Stanton, 73 games last year for the New York Yankees, 40 already at the halfway mark. 2-1. Look at the ERA, 2.93, less hits than innings pitched, and 41 Ks. This guy has been very reliable. He's the kind of a guy that wants the ball and will take the ball on a regular basis. 2 fastballs, curveball, sharp curveball, slider, and a changeup. Got all the pitches.
New York public school system. Apparently it's worked. They had to switch the K in the end. YANKEES is what we saw there a moment ago, but congratulations to those folks. Sesame Street is brought to you by the letter E.
And double E tonight.
A pinch hitter to face Stanton here in the 8th as Benny Agbayani, who started game 1 of the doubleheader in left for the Mets, bats in favor of Matt Franco. Agbayani was 1 for 3 with an RBI in the first game of the Twin Bill. Off the end of the bat with a lot of English. Tough play for Stanton. He applies the tag. Bell to third. Way far out in front of that changeup, and he hit it literally with the end of the bat.
He cued it. Just like a pool shot. Hit it right off the very end. Usually when you hit the ball like that, it has got tremendous spin on it. I'll tell you what, Stanton did a good job. Watch how quick Stanton gets off the mound to make this play. And watch the ball go right off the end of the bat. Picks it up, make the play yourself. 2 hands on the glove. Notice that? Keep the ball in the glove. When you have time, always better to do that rather than have the runner knock it out of your gloves. Now runner on third with 2 outs.
A lefty-lefty matchup now with Robin Ventura, who is hitless today. 0 for 4 this afternoon, 0 for 3 tonight. Ventura has struggled at times this year with runners in scoring position. Batting just .234 with runners in scoring position this year. His career numbers much better than that. Takes a strike on the outside corner to even the count 1-1.
Yeah, you see the look on his face. I don't think he was real happy with that call. And I think that ball might have caught just a little bit of the corner because he's throwing across his body. He's throwing the ball from out of the strike zone across the strike zone to the outside corner.
Ventura behind 1 and 2 now. Derek Bell, the runner at third with 2 gone. Give you an idea as to what Robin Ventura is capable of doing with runners in scoring position. Last year in those situations, he hit .338. Again, about 100 points under that this year. Fans of both New York teams on their feet. Hey, Smales, $1,000 to miss that putt. Stanton leaves a runner. Middle of the 8th, Yankees by 2. Into the late stages tonight in the Bronx. Yankees by a pair. Bottom of the 8th inning. Important for the Yankees, important for the Mets. The New York Mets currently have the wild card should the season end tonight. 1 game up on San Francisco, that giant club under Dusty Baker, all of a sudden the hottest team in the National League. Colorado, Los Angeles, and Montreal of the NL East also still a factor.
Montreal doesn't get a lot of play, but you know what? They have played good baseball this year, 1 game over 500.
Top of the order for the Yankees here in the bottom of the 8th.
Talk about surprising teams in baseball. I would think Montreal one of those teams.
Knobloch lines into center. Almost dumped in front of Payton, but he ran it down. So one gone for Rush. Sex in the City, anyone?
It's Mary Pierce, the tennis player, isn't it?
She looks just like Sarah Jessica Parker. I can't believe how much she looks like her. It's a spinning. That's an uncanny likeness.
To Mary Pierce?
Mrs. Ferris Bueller, everybody. Now we're being told that's actually her. Unbelievable. She is a lovely lady, and my apologies to her. Derek Jeter now with one gone. You always see a star in New York at the ballpark. You know that? I know you know that. Did it ever get to you when you pitched in this place? All the celebs?
Irving. What's his last name? Irving what?
I don't know. That's isn't that the guy that used to be married to Gina Davis? What's that guy's name?
I don't know.
The guy from Jurassic Park, Jeff Goldblum, on a bad hair day. Ball and 2 strikes the count to Derek Jeter. Chop to the right side. Alfonso very good to his left, puts him away, and there are 2 quick outs for Glendon Rush. Glendon Rush very quietly
he's pitched a great ball game,
and he's retired 11 in a row. It's a question of one pitch, the 3-run home run by Chuck Knobloch,
which was a home run that was caught. It was caught on what would have been a great play by Lenny Harris in left field, and when he hits the fence, it becomes a home run. That is the big pitch in the ball game. That's the big hit in the ball game, and the big play right now. And Lenny thought he should have maintained control. Thought he should have had it.
Here's Paul O'Neill, and now note this. That was Glendon Rush's 101st pitch. He's in the bottom of the 8th inning already on 100 pitches, and he struck out 10.
Which gives you an idea of something we had talked about before the game started. Here's a guy with great control. 1.6 walks per 9 innings.
Well, you strike out 10 in 7 2/3.
No base on balls.
Exactly why he doesn't have the high pitch count. That's really unbelievable economy considering 10 strikeouts. I mean, because he has to have thrown 3 pitches to at least 10 batters. O'Neill on the ground for Mora. 12 in a row set down by Glendon Rush. To the 9th, the Yankees up 4-2. Well, last licks for the Mets to try and get back in this ballgame, down by a pair. Yeah, the Yankee fans like what's happening. They're on the verge of taking 3 in a row against the hated crosstown rivals, and they feel good about themselves because their nasty right-handed closer Mariano Rivera has come to work.
20 saves. He picked up a save early this afternoon in that day game over at Shea. 33 hits, 38 innings, 27 strikeouts. Key pitch for him, fastball. He comes right after you with the fastball, and against left-handers he'll cut that fastball, and he gets left-handers out quite often.
Paradise under the dashboard's lights. That guy's going to get out of this ballpark like a bat out of hell.
He's got a rug. He's going to fly out, isn't he?
Todd Zeile leads things off in the 9th. This is the same part of the lineup card that Mariano Rivera disposed of in rather unceremonious 1-2-3 fashion to earn his 20th save of the year earlier this afternoon. He grounded out Zeile, struck out Payton, and popped out Vizcaino. And it appears as though he will pop out Zeile to start the 9th in the nightcap. Yeah, that's what happened. One pitch, 1 out.
Bobby Valentine just finished a big 4-game series with the Atlanta Braves. They split that series. This is another big 4-game series. He's 2 outs away from losing 3 in a row to the crosstown rival.
And it has been a tough day for Bobby V, who only saw 1 or 2 pitches in the opener before being run from the ballgame. Jay Payton now. He bites on the first pitch. Blank at shortstop. A rare E6.
And once again, tying run coming to the plate in the person of Frack and the number 9 hitter on deck, Melvin Mora. I mean, that's a big hop right there. Hits him right off the hand. About the worst place it can hit you. Right at the base of your hand. You want it to hit you in the finger area, in the pocket area.
And that's a play that Derek Jeter makes 99.5 out of 100 times.
99.9.
Yeah. Well, here's Todd Pratt. He represents the tying run against Rivera. All 3 of the hitters that have faced Rivera so far have been on the first pitch.
And they're looking first pitch fastball, and they're getting it, and they're taking their rips. Yankees defensively would like the double play here, which means the infielder's a couple of steps in. Not good speed at the plate with Pratt.
Nothing in 1 to the Mets backstop. Runner at first is Jay Payton. And there's no sense in his being over-aggressive, because you need more than just Payton to get back in this ballgame if you're a Met fan. Despite the fact that Payton has great speed and he's a good base stealer.
His run right now means nothing. Take a good lead, of course, because if there's a ground ball to the infield in the hole on a forced play at second base, he's got to take a good lead. I mean, we don't want him to be defensive, just not overly aggressive in this situation. He's got to take a bigger lead than he has right now.
Pratt with a fly ball to medium deep left. Spencer makes the grab, shy of the track. Mets are down to their last out tonight. Melvin Moore is being pulled back for a pinch hitter.
Mark Johnson, left-hander, coming off the bench.
Now Bobby Valentine just going with the statistics here.
And I remember he has great success with the cut fastball against left-handers. But don't forget, we are in Yankee Stadium. Shallow porch to right field, 314 down the line. Mel Stottlemyre out to talk about how they're going to throw the ball to Johnson. Let's get together on this. This is a big part of the ball game. If they get him out, a save and a big win for the Yankees, making it 3 in a row.
Well, our Nissan play of the game so far came when Chuck Knobloch stepped to the plate in the bottom of the 5th. He bit at the first pitch, hit a 3-run home run that Lenny Harris almost brought back. That one stands as the game difference. Mariano Rivera is 1 at-bat away from making it stand up for a win. It'll be the pinch hitter, Mark Johnson. Runner goes, it's fouled away at the plate.
And I doubt he'll be given a stolen base because Tino Martinez is playing about 10-15 feet behind him. That's one of those calls the official scorer can make on his own.
And check that, it was not fouled away by Johnson. A swing and a miss cleanly. Oh, 1. And now the Mets are down to their last strike. Bobby Valentine goes to a veteran left-handed hitter off the bench. Who started his season in AAA in one of the biggest moments of the season for the Mets. Oh, 55,000 plus wanted that one.
And I'll tell you what, the third base umpire could have made them all happy, but on the check swing, he said no. That was Rob Cook at third. Rivera, very, very calm, under control, on the mound at all times.
2 balls and 2 strikes to Mark Johnson. Rivera looking for saves in both ends of the doubleheader on this historic night of New York baseball. 2-2. Johnson grounds to second. Jose Vizcaíno takes care of him. New York Mets, good night. Bobby Valentine's Mets have lost 3 in a row to the crosstown world champs. Final score once again, the Yankees defeat the Mets 4-2. Join us Thursday on Fox Sports Net when baseball returns from the All-Star break with more interleague play. You'll see either the Cardinals and White Sox or the Angels and Dodgers. Check your local listings for the game and time in your area. Next week on FX Baseball Saturday night, the Cardinals meet the Chicago White Sox at 7 p.m. 4 Pacific. Coming up next on FX, it's MASH already in progress. For Ken Brett, this is Matt Vasgersian. You've been watching FX Baseball Saturday night. We'll see you next week.